Good afternoon. My name is Tom Fornarola, and I am a recent graduate of Recruit Class 63. Over the last few years, the City of Rochester, in conjunction with our department, has placed crime deterrence and prevention at the forefront of creating a safer city for all of its residents. When one thinks of crime, they usually think of traditional street crimes such as robberies, thefts, burglary, drug use, etc. However, traffic violations also encompass traditional lower-level street crimes. Recently, city officials have placed a strong emphasis on deterring traffic-related violations within the City of Rochester. Because of this, our department has been tasked with cracking down on traffic-related violations. Although this may seem like a simple task, officers face a multitude of problems that interfere with their ability in accomplishing this task. One problem is that officers are extremely busy dealing with a variety of higher-level street crimes, so we do not have the time to focus on traffic-related violations. For example, the average call volume for 1st Platoon is 24 calls in an 8-hour shift. This is an extremely high call volume for a typical shift. Because our officers are consistently responding to violent crimes which consume a large amount of time and resources, they do not have the ability to crack down on traffic-related violations. Another problem that is preventing our officers from cracking down on traffic-related violations throughout the city is that they do not have the necessary equipment needed in order to do their jobs in an effective manner. Our department has roughly 196 road patrol vehicles. Roughly 35 of these vehicles are dedicated to our tactical unit, and 25 of these vehicles are dedicated to our traffic enforcement unit. Including the traffic enforcement unit, only 53 patrol vehicles are equipped with resources like radar that are used to detect speeding violations. This causes a major problem because even if our officers did have the time to focus on traffic-related violations, they do not have the resources or equipment in order to do so. Although these problems may seem unsolvable or too expensive to solve, there are some creative strategies to help combat these internal problems in order to give our officers the ability to succeed in deterring traffic-related violations throughout the City of Rochester. One solution to allow officers the adequate time to focus on traffic-related violations is to implement a mandatory traffic enforcement detail. Although the department already has a traffic enforcement unit, this is a voluntary position for officers who are interested in combating traffic-related crimes. I impose that the department implements a mandatory traffic enforcement detail, meaning that every officer is required to participate in traffic enforcement for 40 hours a month. This boils down to about 5 days a month. While officers are on this detail, they are only required to enforce the city traffic laws. This will allow officers the time needed to focus on traffic-related violations because they are not fielding traditional service calls that typically interfere with their ability to focus on traffic enforcement. A second solution is to install a minimum ticket requirement for the traffic enforcement unit. For example, the New York State Police in the Rochester area have a ticket requirement of 210 tickets per month. That boils down to about 7 per day. However, every New York State Police vehicle is fitted with 2 different types of radar in order for them to achieve this goal. Because we do not have access to those types of resources, we cannot meet those types of standards. If our department installs a lower ticket requirement, such as 3 tickets per day, city officials will see quantitative results that officers are diligently working to deter traffic-related violations. Traffic violations do not just include traditional speeding violations. They include violations such as distracted driving, texting and driving, seatbelt violations, New York State registration and inspection violations, and many more. Just because a majority of our vehicles do not have radar does not mean that our department can't focus on these other types of infractions. Our department can implement traffic checkpoints on highly traveled roadways and interstate on-ramps, much like the New York State Police do. Also, our department can set up traffic safety initiatives, like the New York State Police do, that help crack down on texting while driving and drunk driving, and talking on a cell phone while driving. State Police Operation Hang Up and Operation Yellow Jacket are state police crackdowns that deal with these initiatives. Instead of fitting every patrol vehicle with speed radar, which will be increasingly expensive and time-consuming, These are creative and cost-effective ways that our department can deter traffic-related violations with the resources that we do have. With your help, all of these solutions can be started immediately. If approved, this upcoming week, we should implement a mandatory traffic enforcement detail. Commander Morabito with the Special Operations Division can head this operation and start scheduling officers to work the detail. Also, we can immediately focus on those non-traditional safety violations. Watch commanders should instruct officers at roll call to focus on any observed traffic violations and deal with them accordingly. Beginning to implement these solutions so that we can deter traffic-related violations throughout the city of Rochester will show city officials that we are adamant about creating a safer city for everyone. Thank you.